Someone built their whole life around rules that kept them untouchable. And right now, because of you, they're violating every single one, like they don't even recognize themselves anymore. They made those rules years ago. Rules about how close anyone is allowed to get. Rules about staying composed. Rules about never being the one who reaches first. Never being the one who needs. And today, they're watching themselves break all of it in real time, and they still can't stop. That's what's coming through. They're right at the edge, and your name is the thing tipping them over. Let's go ahead and start today's reading. And before we dive in, take only what resonates. Now let me tell you who this person is, because the energy around them is specific. This is someone with real money, real influence. They've built something, or they're in charge of something. From the outside, their life looks perfect, controlled, finished. People look at them and assume there's nothing they could possibly want that they don't already have. And that assumption is the loneliest part of their entire world, because their success came with a price. And the price is that almost nobody gets close. Their life is high pressure. It demands everything. It consumes their time and their mind. And it has quietly become the place they hide, because as long as they're producing, as long as they're winning, they don't have to feel how empty it gets when the doors close. That's the person we're talking about. Powerful on the outside, starving for something real on the inside, and they would rather swallow glass than say that out loud. And then there's you. You cannot understand what you're doing to them until you understand what you've done to yourself. Because I can feel it so clearly. You've been underestimated, maybe not by everyone, but by enough people for long enough that you made a decision. You decided you would never be at someone else's mercy again. There was a moment in your life, maybe more than one, where you reached for support and it wasn't there. And you made a quiet promise to yourself, never again. Never again will my peace depend on whether someone chooses to show up for me. And you kept that promise. You built a life where you handle it. All of it. You study yourself. You keep moving. You don't chase. You don't crumble. You don't wait around hoping someone picks you. You learn to need no one. And you got so good at it that it stopped looking like pain and started looking like strength. And I want to be clear, it is strength. I'm not here to disrespect your independence. It's real. You earned it. You paid for it, but I'm also not going to only tell you the pretty half. You weren't born this self-contained. Something shaped you. At some point, being self-contained was the safest thing you could be, and you've carried it so long, you forgot there was ever another way. I'm telling you this because the exact thing you built to protect yourself is the exact thing that has this person completely undone. And there's another part of you that matters here. You are the same person everywhere. So many people are one version of themselves at work, another version at home, another version when they want something. They adjust, they perform, they shift depending on who's watching. You don't. You decided a long time ago that if people are going to know you, they're going to know the real you. Take it or leave it. And yes, a lot of people left it. That was them sorting themselves out of your life, and you didn't beg them to stay. But the ones who stayed, the ones who actually see you, they know they're getting something solid, something that doesn't manipulate the room, something that doesn't pretend. And this person, this admirer, has spent so long surrounded by performance that meeting someone who simply does not perform felt like breathing clean air for the first time in years. You are not a mood they have to manage. You are not a deal to negotiate. You're just real. And after a lifetime of the other thing, real is intoxicating. This person is used to people wanting something from them. That's their normal. People come close because of what they can get. People who smile a little too quickly and warm up a little too fast. People whose loyalty has a receipt attached to it. They got used to it. They built rules for it. Keep it controlled. Keep it distant. Keep it clean. Don't let anyone in far enough to cost you something. And then they encountered you. And you didn't want anything from them. You weren't dazzled by the power. You weren't impressed by what everyone else gets impressed by. If anything, you stayed exactly where you were, complete, centered, fine with or without them. And for someone whose entire identity has been built on being needed, meeting someone who doesn't need them is the most disorienting thing in the world. You stopped them cold. And it didn't make them lose interest. It did the opposite. It made them desperate to be the exception. Because if you don't need anyone, but you let them in, that would mean something. That would mean they were chosen, not purchased. And I need you to hear this. They have never, not once in their adult life, fully known the difference between being wanted and being used. You are the first person who could give them that, and they know it. So let's go inside their head. This person cannot stop thinking about you. And I want to be specific because what's happening is not soft. It's constant. They're in meetings that matter, meetings they used to dominate, and part of their mind just leaves. It goes to you. They're mid-sentence and lose their train of thought because something reminded them of you. They go to bed exhausted, the kind of tired where your body should shut down instantly, and instead they lie there replaying you. Something you said, the way you didn't react to something the way everyone else would, the way you didn't need their approval, it loops. And this is a person who prides themselves on control. They schedule their days, they train their mind, they stay disciplined, and you walk straight through all of that discipline like it was nothing, because this is someone who built their entire life around never being at anyone's mercy again. The money, the status, the power. A huge part of why they built it was to make sure nobody else ever held the deciding power over them. They wanted to be the one who could leave, and you, without trying, have changed that. They are not the one who decides anymore. You are. And they feel it. Every day they feel it a little more. It thrills them and it terrifies them at the same time, because no amount of money can buy back the power they handed you just by letting you matter. And there is something else here that surprised even me. Possessiveness. And I'm going to say it plainly, they have no right to it. There has been no conversation, no claim, nothing official. And yet, when they think about you out in the world, living your life, being seen by other people, something in them tightens. It's territorial. The rational part of them knows it's irrational. The rational part of them is saying, you have not earned this feeling, and the feeling doesn't care. They want you to be theirs. And they are ashamed of how much they want it, because wanting it breaks their first rule, never need, and it shows up in small ways they would deny if you called them on it. They've rearranged their day around you without admitting it. They take a different route. They linger in places they don't need to be. They keep their attention half fixed on a door, a phone, a name, just in case it's you. They catch themselves and it makes them angry because it is so far outside the version of themselves they've spent years perfecting. They would look you in the eye and tell you that they're too busy, too serious, too important to be reorganizing their life around one person. And it would be a lie. The gap between who they think they are and what they're doing is wide enough now that they can't pretend not to see it. And the wanting is physical. This isn't distant admiration. They think about being close to you. They imagine closing the space. They imagine what it would feel like to stop holding themselves at that careful distance they hold everyone at. They have imagined touching you. They have. And every time it rises, they push it down because it isn't appropriate, because they haven't earned it, because they're a controlled person. And it comes back anyway. The desire is loud, it's specific, and it is exhausting them. But here's the part that breaks them the most. It isn't the dramatic fantasy. It's not the expensive fantasy. It's one ordinary image they can't stop returning to. They picture a morning early before the day starts, before the phones, before the performance. They picture you in a kitchen, unhurried, maybe still half asleep, doing something small, reaching for a cup, standing in the light from a window, just existing. And they're in the doorway watching you, coffee in their hand, and they forget to drink it. It goes cold because they're just standing there, watching you be real in a quiet moment where nobody has to prove anything. That's the fantasy. Not buying you something, not impressing you, not controlling the outcome, just being allowed to be ordinary with you. And the detail matters because money is the one thing they have endless amounts of, and it's the one thing this fantasy doesn't involve. The fantasy is peace, and they don't know how to get there. That's what haunts them. So if you felt this person around you, if a name or face came into your mind, if your chest reacted when I described that kitchen, go ahead and comment the word breaking below. Just that one word, breaking, because that's where they are. They're breaking their own rules. And if this is landing on you, like this video and subscribe because the energy here is moving fast and I don't want you to miss what's coming. Now you need to hear why they haven't moved yet. Because you've probably wondered if they feel all of this, why the silence? Why haven't they done anything? And the easy answer is fear. But that's not what this is. This person isn't scared. This is wait. You matter too much. They can walk into almost any room and get what they want. They're charming when they want to be. They're smooth. They're practiced. But with you, the polish disappears. Because the stakes get massive. If it doesn't work with a stranger, who cares? If they get it wrong with you, they lose the one thing that has made them feel something real in years. So they freeze. They overthink. They become careful. They become slow. Not because they don't want you, but because they want you so much, they don't trust themselves not to ruin it. And while they stall, they watch. They notice who's around you. They notice new people in your orbit. They notice when you get attention. And they are not at peace with it. Every time it happens, it tightens the pressure. It's part of why they're at the edge now. The watching has become unbearable. They can't stand on the sidelines of your life much longer. Something in them knows that if they keep waiting, they wait themselves right out of the story. And that realization is what's pushing them to break their rules. Those rules kept them safe. Those rules also kept them away from you. And they've reached the point where safe isn't worth it anymore. Now I want to lift us out of this because this reading is not only about them, it never was. This is about your life. There is a shift coming that is bigger than one person's feelings. And I need you to hear it. The independence you built, that self-containment, the way you stopped chasing, it is about to become the engine of something abundant in your life. And I'm not keeping it vague. I'm seeing unexpected abundance, not the slow grind you're used to, something that arrives, something that lands from a direction you weren't even watching, bigger than you planned for, sooner than the timeline you accepted, an overflow. A door opening into a room you didn't know existed. And here's the connection. The reason this abundance is coming is the same reason that person cannot look away. It's because you stopped chasing. It's because you became someone who cannot be bought, cannot be pulled off center by someone offering something shiny. You built a self that stands on its own, and a self that stands on its own is a self abundance can finally land on. Because it isn't grasping, it isn't leaking, it isn't desperate. You got still. You got solid. You stopped needing it so badly that you could finally receive it. And I want to tell you what it may look like. I'm seeing the pressure you've carried start to lift. Pressure around money, pressure around providing, pressure around always being the one who makes it work. And that pressure lifts in a way that surprises you. Not because you finally hustled hard enough. You've always hustled hard enough. It lifts because something opens. A resource you didn't expect, a return you weren't counting on, a yes from a direction you weren't even facing, and the feeling isn't just relief, it's vindication. The feeling of I was right to keep going. The years of doing it alone weren't wasted. They were building toward this. And you need to understand something. Your independence didn't just make you magnetic to a powerful admirer. It made you someone life can finally hand things to. Because you won't drop them out of fear. Because you won't sabotage them out of desperation. Because you won't fold yourself to fit into someone else's story. You are rare. The number of people who can be this self-possessed without turning cold is small. You are in it. And rare people are not meant to live small, careful, under-noticed lives. You've been carrying yourself like someone bracing for less. That is ending. The abundance is not a maybe, it's a when. And the when is close. Now let me leave you with the timing I'm feeling. The energy with this person is shifting. It's not frozen anymore. They're out of room. They've run out of rules to hide behind. The next move is theirs. And everything in this message says they're going to make it. A silence breaks. A distance closes sooner than you think. But I'm not leaving you focused on them because that was never the point. Here is what I want you to walk away with. You are not waiting to be chosen. You never were. You are already whole, already complete, already rare. And what is coming toward you, the love and the abundance both, isn't coming to complete you. It's coming because you're already complete. It's coming to meet you where you are. You don't have to shrink to be loved. You don't have to start needing again to be wanted. The exact woman you became, the independent one, the steady one, the self-contained one, that is the woman all of this is arriving for. Don't change her. She's the one they fell for. She's the one life is about to bless. So take a breath with me, beautiful soul. Let yourself believe it for a second. If this reading reached you, like this video. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next because the energy on this channel keeps moving. And comment below, what is the first rule you're done letting run your life? I read these, I want to know. Tell me what you're done with. Now stay with me because the next part is where most people get this wrong. When someone like this finally moves, it is not always romantic. It is not always pretty. Sometimes it comes out sideways first. A message that looks professional. A question that doesn't match the context. An invite that feels too casual for how much weight is behind it. Because they are trying to walk toward you without looking like they're walking toward you. They're trying to keep the mask on while their whole nervous system is reaching. So if you get something small from them, do not dismiss it as nothing. It is not nothing. It is them testing whether it is safe to be real. And here's what I need you to remember. Your power in this connection is not in how much you can make them want you. They already do. Your power is in what you allow, because you have a pattern and you know it. When someone finally shows up, there is a part of you that wants to shut the door fast, not because you don't want them, but because you do. Wanting makes you feel exposed, and you would rather be lonely in control than hopeful in the unknown. That is the old rule. So I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. If they come forward, what do you do first? Do you soften, or do you test? Do you receive, or do you make them prove it until the moment is ruined? Because I'm not here to romanticize someone's obsession if they do not have the character to hold you. I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. I'm here to tell you what this is and what it requires. This person has a history of control, and when control cracks, it can go two ways. It can turn into honesty, or it can turn into intensity that tries to own what it has not earned. So if you felt that possessiveness when I said it, do not ignore it. Pay attention. Possessive is not the same as devoted. Territorial is not the same as safe. And you, of all people, cannot afford to confuse those. Because your softness is not cheap. Your softness is sacred. And if you let them in, it has to be because they come correctly. Not because they want you. Not because they miss you. Not because they finally got brave. But because they can respect you in the daylight, the same way they crave you in the dark. So here is what I'm seeing as the next chapter. They are going to try to get closer, and they're going to do it in a way that looks controlled. But their control is slipping. And you're going to feel it. In the way they watch your face, in the way their voice changes when they say your name, in the way they try to keep it casual and fail. And it is going to be tempting to meet them there, to finally step towards someone who is powerful enough to make life easier. But hear me, you did not build this independence just to hand it away to someone with a nice suit and a hungry heart. You built it so you could choose from a place of peace. So when they come forward, do not rush. Do not chase them. Do not punish them either. Just stay in your center. Let them show you who they are when they don't get instant reassurance. Let them show you if their interest is about you or about finally winning something they could not control, because that is the real question. Do they want you as a person, or do they want you as proof that they can still conquer what scares them? Your life gets to be more than someone else's awakening. You are not a lesson. You are not a trophy. And if they want access to you, they will have to meet you with honesty, consistency, and emotional maturity. Not heat, not tension, not late night confessions. Consistency. So, here's your assignment. Before they reach out, decide what your standard is. Not your fantasy, your standard. What does respect look like? What does effort look like? What does clarity look like? What does a real offer look like? Because the moment they come in, you will not have time to invent boundaries on the fly. Your nervous system will try to go back to old rules. Old rules like, if I act like I don't care, I won't get hurt. If I stay unavailable, I stay safe. If I keep it light, I don't have to feel. But you're not there anymore. You are not the version of you who had to survive by shutting down. You are allowed to be wanted and still be in control of your life. You are allowed to be desired and still be respected. You are allowed to receive without shrinking. And now let's talk about the abundance again, because I want you to recognize it when it arrives. It's going to come in a form that makes you blink. Something you didn't apply for, something you didn't beg for, something that feels like it found you. And the reason it finds you is because you stopped running after what runs away. You stopped negotiating with people who only show up halfway. You stopped auditioning, you started standing, and standing changes what can reach you. So when the shift hits, do not talk yourself out of it. Do not delay it because you're used to struggle. Do not second guess the door because it opened too easily. Ease is not always a trap. Sometimes ease is the reward for years of carrying it the hard way. Now I want to bring it back to that comment question. What is the first rule you're done letting run your life? Because I'll tell you what I feel yours is. You are done with the rule that says you have to be low maintenance to be loved. You are done with the rule that says you can't ask for more without losing everything. You are done with the rule that says if someone wants you, you should be grateful, even if they can't hold you properly. That rule ends here. And that is why this person is shaken. Because you are not hungry for them. You're not impressed by them. You are not waiting. You are a choice they have to earn. And they know it. So watch what happens next. The silence breaks. They step forward. And you don't fold. You don't chase. You don't close. You just stay real. And the real you is the only thing they can't buy. It's also the only thing that can change their entire life. If you want the next part of this, keep your eyes open. Because the next move is close, and it will tell you everything. These readings only stay alive because people like you choose to support them. If you've been watching for a while and you want to help keep this channel going, you can do that through super thanks. Even a $20, $30, or $50 contribution genuinely makes a difference and helps me continue showing up with these messages. Every bit of support is felt, and I'm so deeply grateful. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who might need to hear this today. You never know who's been waiting for this kind of confirmation. If you want to go deeper and be part of this community in a closer way, consider becoming a channel member. It's a simple way to stay connected and support the work at the same time. I truly love doing these readings for you, and I love what we've built here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and thank you to every member and every person who supports in any way. It never goes unseen. Sending you so much light, love, and positivity. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.